Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing 3 looks with the Carnival All Star palettes by bPerfect and Stacey. I already did a video explaining everything about the palette, showing you swatches, doing a first look, but today I'm doing 3 more looks with it because I'm very much inspired by it at the moment, and this is the first one, by the way. So I hope you're ready for a lot of color and a lot of fun, and I'm going to include a couple of Lethal Cosmetics multi-chromes in the process as well. So without any further ado, let's go right into look number 1. Alright, let's hop right into the first look. So I primed my eyes using this NYX eyeshadow primer. This is the HD Studio Photogenic eyeshadow base. And of course, as you can see, I spiked up my brows using the pink honey soap, which is working a lot better now that it's cooled down. But I do like this eyeshadow primer. I'm actually testing it out right now, but it seems to be nice. So I thought today we could do a rainbow look. I know there has to be someone, right? Or there has to be one, right? So maybe I won't do a full rainbow, but at least I'm going to make it very colorful today. I'm going to start with the color Keen in my inner crease. I would have preferred something that's a little bit lighter, but I do always find that using a yellow in your inner crease and inner corner is the best move with any look with a lot of color. I do really like this shade of yellow, by the way. It's just that I would have liked there to be one more. But this is a beautiful, vibrant shade. And this is a clean brush, by the way. It's one from Kiko. It's their Blending Brush 201. But it's kind of small. I'm also bringing this on the inner corner. Alright, it's a nice start. Now I'm just cleaning off this brush a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm going into Ecstasy, which is the bright green shade. And I'm going to continue in the crease with that shade. And this is where I feel like it would have been prettier if this was a lighter, more cool toned yellow. But I think it still works. And then I'm going into Sky, which is the true light blue. And I'm putting that in the out part of the crease. And that mixes with that green nicely, I'd say. It is a lot deeper than the green. I'll see if I can deepen the green up a little bit later. The blue mixes with the green and it becomes sort of a dark green. I don't hate it, but I definitely mix them together a little bit too much. Which is weird because I don't usually blend a lot. I do like this color, by the way, but it's not exactly what I was going for. Now before I do this little inner piece here, I want to keep it with these shades of green and blue and yellow. And I'm going into Mood, which is this dark teal, dark blue, and I'm putting that in the outer corner. I could have used the green as well, but I really want that slight tint of blue in this look. And as I suspected, that blends very seamlessly with the other shades. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't go too far in, so it really doesn't have to blend with the yellow. Because that will probably not be the easiest blend. But for these green and blue shades, it's beautiful. Also putting a little bit in the outer corner and the lower lash line. So now I feel like I have to change brushes. I've done more than enough with that one brush. I'm going into this flat shader brush and I'm going into, what's a nice shade? I wanted to make it more of a rainbow, but I feel like this isn't going to work with all the other colors also. So I'm going into Reef, which is the minty shade. And I'm putting that right here where we have a little space left. Now it's going to look very similar to a combination of the blue and the yellow, but a little bit more vibrant. Now I am going to try to deepen up the inner crease a little bit. And this is an experiment, but I'm going to see what happens when I add a little bit of lit to the mix. And I'm not going to blend lit with the blues. Just putting a little bit right there to intensify the inner corner. I am of course blending it with the yellow, but I'm stopping right there. And may I add that this orange blends on top of the, or adds on top of the yellow really nicely. These shadows are pigmented, but they are still buildable. Yeah, I think that gave a nice effect. And now I'm slightly tapping here. But I'm not really blending it. I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to add something over shimmer on the lid anyway. And I feel like this looks nice enough. You don't want to blend a blue with a orange too much, because then it'll just get more muddy. So now it's time to add a nice shimmer, and in that sense this palette is a little bit restricting. So I may add a little bit of, or I may add some of my single shadows from Lethal Cosmetics later on, but I'll try to keep it with this palette for the first look at least. And I think what's going to be nice is if I go into Venom, which is this murky green shade, which should mix with all the other shades, because it's sort of in between. I could have done an actual cut crease. Maybe that would have been fun. It's a little bit too late for that now. This does really work with everything. I'm going back with my original brush with the dark blue on it. And I usually don't mind when my shimmer takes over the outer corner. But in this instance, I really want the contrast there. So I'm taking a little bit of the blue and I'm sort of going over the edges where they meet. And then I'm going into Silvery, which is a lighter, little bit more gold version of that Venom shade that we just used. And I'm brightening up the inner corner with that shade. I feel like those shades are very similar. They work beautifully together, but there could have been a different shade. I'm also going to put a little bit of that silvery shade right here. That was actually an accident, but I like it, so I'm going to do it. And then with hardly anything left on my brush, I'm just going over the edges where it meets the orange. Yes, I like this. This seems like a fun look to me. So let me add some mascara, lashes, face makeup, everything, and I'll show you the finished look. I'm back. This is my finished look. I kind of like this look. I didn't do the best application with the lashes. I used way too much glue and it's kind of still drying down, but it will and it'll be fine. I used the Michaela X Glam Light Part 2 Daydreamer lashes, I think they're called, which are starting to become one of my favorites. I used a combination of two NYX foundations, the Born This Way Glow Foundation and Born This Way Matte Foundation. I think they're both called something like that, or Born This Way and Born to Glow. I don't know, I already put them back in the closet. I used a combination of those two, And then I used my Chanel bronzer. I used my makeup eraser concealer from Maybelline. I used my Too Faced under eye powder. I used this blush from Shiseido in this pinky color, and then I used the highlighter in my Charlotte Tilbury palette, which I think is almost hitting pan. I think I'm halfway done with that shade. I've used it so much and the pan is quite small. And then I used my Charlotte Tilbury Angel Alessandra lipstick, and I think that's all you missed. Oh, I put a gold eyeliner from Chanel in my waterline. So that's it for the first look. I hope you liked this one, and let's see what we'll do in look number 2. So, welcome to look number 2. I have my little Maki ears on. These are new, a new headgear that I got at a monkey zoo this summer, and this is my first time trying them on for the video. But I think they're cute. I usually just pull my hair in a ponytail, but I didn't want to do that today, so this is what we're doing. I'm also using the Catrice Brow Fix Shaping Wax in my brows, and so far they're holding up really nicely. So let's see if this is an ABH dupe. But that's not why you're here. You're here for another look. So I've already done a more pinky look. I've done a green, blue and a little bit of orange look. So today I think I want to do mainly a blue look. Maybe I'm doing a two-toned look. I'm going to start with the shade Coral. I know that's not very blue, but it's calling my name. On this weird slanted blending brush that's from a set. I just thought this shade would be so wonderfully neon. And I do believe it is. Yeah, it is. It's very cool. I mean, that makes a statement all on its own. I am going to build it up even more. And then, let me see if I have a clean one. I'm taking this washcloth and I'm just taking off most of the pigment. And with the same brush I'm going to blend the edges. Which, just as with the pink look, works perfectly. Alright, so now we have something really bright and really fun. I'm going to deepen it up using Bloom. I wanted to use Blaze, but I think I want to pull it more in a cool tone direction. So I'm putting Bloom in my outer corner. I'm taking my small pencil brush from Too Faced and I'm going into Mystic, which is the black shade. And I'm going to put this in the outer corner. I'm trying to keep it very tight in there. I'll blend that out in a second, and then I'm also putting that shade very close to the lower lash line, but only in the outer half. I'm just going to build all of that up a little bit more. I don't think this is the most pigmented black. The most recent black that I used was the one in the Michaela Part 2 collection, and that one was definitely more intense. But that's okay. Going back with this slightly weird brush, and I'm going into the shade Bloom again. And I'm just going to use that shade to blend out the black. Only on the top half of my eyes. I have different plans for the bottom half. It's not the best at blending out. I'm going back with that smaller brush. I'll have to go back and forth a little bit. I guess that Michaela palette really got me spoiled. Yeah, I finally got it blended. You know, for how easily those other shades blended the first two looks, the black is really quite difficult in this palette. But I got there. I got a pretty okay blend. So I'm cleaning off that brush on the towel again, and I'm going back into the coral shade. And I'm just intensifying it around the edges. I really like this. I kind of don't want to do my original plan. I wanted to add some blue to the lower lash line. But I really like this coral shade. What would happen if we would add a blue? No, I don't think it would be pretty. So I'm going to take some sort of small brush. This flat shader brush, and I'm going into coral. And I'm also going to put that through the lower lash line. I just think it'll be more cohesive. And with the same brush, I'm also going into Bloom to mix together the black and the coral shade. You do really need that in between with this palette, which I guess is not really weird when you're going from a neon to a black. And I really like that combination of more cool toned and more warm toned pinks. So now the question is, do I want to stick with this palette or do I want to add a multichrome from Lethal? And since the only true possible shimmer is this pinky one, which I find a little bit boring, and I did already use that one, I'm going to take one of my Lethal shades. These are the ones that I have. And I haven't really used Parsec yet in a full look. I could also do this one. I'd have to look up the shade name. It's more green. It would contrast nicely. Or this one, which has a red flip. I've decided I'm going to go with the one with the red flip, which is called Antimatter. This one. Because I really haven't put that all over my lid yet. Okay, that was a good choice. I feel like this is more of a duochrome than an actual multichrome. It is sort of a white with a red/pink flip. But maybe you can see more. I guess it does have a little bit of gold in there as well. I'm sort of tapping it out all over my eye. I like that. It is a little bit more of a sheer shade, but it does work. I think that's prettier than the one in the bPerfect palette. And then I'm also taking a little bit of the same shade on this pencil brush, so I can really intensify the inner corner. I hope it's okay that I'm using shimmers from a different brand. The bPerfect palette really is all about the mattes for me. Apart from the black, I do think they perform really well. And I've used pretty much all the shades in the bPerfect palette already, all the shimmers I mean. Now I'm also taking a little bit of Parsec, which is this beautiful true glittery multichrome, and I'm putting that right there underneath the lower lash line. Just for something a little bit different. I think that's going to be my eye look for today. I really like the combination. I have this palette, the bPerfect one I mean, with the purpose of combining it with my singles, so I'm happy. So let me finish up this look, let me add some lashes, mascara, my face makeup, and I'll show you the finished look. I'm back, this is my finished look. I thought it would be fun to pair this look with an orange lipstick, but I'm not entirely sure about it. Because I thought there was a little bit of orange in that coral, so I thought it would pair nicely with this lipstick. I guess it's okay. So I made it a bit of a intergalactic look. I used I'll just go in order. I used some demi wispies or regular wispies from Ardell, but they're cut in half lashes. And these are probably the last time I can wear them. I used the Catrice Brow Gel, like I said, and it's working alright. It's not 100% gravity proof, but I didn't use that much, so I'll give that another try. I used the Benefit Micro Filling Pen in Blonde in my brows. I used a combination of the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in Gobi and Liquid Illuminator from Chanel in the shade Pearly Glow. A combination of that all over my face. I used the Chanel concealer and my Too Faced powder. I used this bronzer from B Cosmetics, which is the home brand from Ici Paris XL. If you can still get this, this was part of the summer release. I really like it. It's glowy and it's pretty. Then I used my Dior Corally, well, it's called pink, but I feel like it's more of a coral on me, this blush, with the, and that's the intergalactic part, the highlighter from Lethal Cosmetics. I'm not sure what it's called. It's one of their multi-chrome highlighters, and I also used that on my nose. And then to finish it up, I used my Kimchi Chic lipstick in the shade Peach Rings, which is this beautiful, slightly peachy orange shade. And I feel like this look is very cool. So let me know what you think, and now let's get into the third and final look. Alright, it's time for the third and final look. Now, I know all my looks are pretty dramatic lately, and I kind of want to see if I can try, or I want to try if I can make a colorful look that's not quite as dramatic. So I figured I could either go into this row over here with the softer greens, or I could do something with the blues. And I'm kind of feeling the blues today, but that is historically a difficult color for me to tame down. So we're going to see if I get this to work. So I already zoomed you in nice and close. I already did my full brows. I used my pink honey and I tried to keep them a little bit lower. And I also added a little bit more of my NYX Brow Lift and Snatch. And then I have my BU primer on my eyes, but that's discontinued. It's just a clear satin primer. So now I'm taking this slanted essence brush, which is my favorite, as some of you may know. And I'm going into Sky, which is the bright sky blue. And I'm keeping it a little bit lower than I would usually do. Something like that. Just building it up a little bit more. Especially in the inner crease. And I'm also taking it underneath the eyes. I'm putting it on my full lower lash line. Alright, I think that's it for the sky blue. I might make the lower lash line a little bit shorter lately with a makeup wipe. Now I'm taking this slanted blending brush, which I used for a different look, and I'm going into Mood, which is the dark blue. And I'm putting that in the outer corner. This really isn't going to be a very complicated look. I might do even more looks later. But this is my second look of the day, and the first look was so dramatic in the end that I'm kind of in the mood for something slightly more subtle. As far as bright blue can be subtle. I do think it helps with how bright the shades are to really deepen up that outer corner and outer crease. And I'm also taking a little bit on the pointy end of the brush, which I'm taking in that outer corner of the lower lash line. Now I'm going back with my original brush, but I'm not going to add any product. Just going to make sure there's a nice blend between the dark blue and the light blue. Which I think now there is. And now instead of using my finger, I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more contained and use this flat shader brush by Too Faced. And I'm, of course, going into this metallic blue, which I don't think I've used yet. And I don't think it's the perfect match for those other shades which are a little bit more teal. But the amount of shimmers in this palette is limited. I guess it doesn't look so bad. And see, with the brush I could make a nice clean shape. And then I'm going back with that original brush and I'm just blending out the front piece a little bit more. See, I feel like I got to keep that quite contained this time. I just wish that that shade was a little bit more sparkly. But I guess it looks alright. Now for the inner corner and lower lash line, I'm taking the pink again. I guess I'm just going to do the inner corner with this shade. And I'm going to use the purple as well. So I mean this purple, the sparkly one. Just taking that on the same brush. I'm going to put that right here underneath the lower lash line. Yeah, that's kind of pretty, I think. I'm going to need a little bit more of that pink shade. And I think that's going to be it. Wait, no. I thought this was going to be it. But now that I've added that blue satin shade, I kind of want to deepen up the outer corner a little bit more. So I'm taking the black and I'm just intensifying the outer corner a little bit. Yeah, that's better. After which I'm of course going back with that original brush and I'm just blending out the black a little bit. And that's my eye look. Still quite dramatic, but not as high as I would usually take it. So I'm going to add some mascara, some face makeup, everything, and I'll show you the finished final look. I'm back. This is my final look. I really like the way this one came out. It's a little bit more dramatic than what I was going for, but it's definitely a little bit less than this morning. Or at least I've tried to make it a little bit less. I'm wearing my Ardell Demi Wispies and Chanel turquoise eyeliner. I already told you my brows. I'm wearing the Essence Hydro Hero Skin Tint with the Benefit Boing Concealer and the Too Faced Powder. I'm wearing my e.l.f. Cream Bronzer with the Shiseido Pink Blush and my Becca Prismatic Amethyst, I think that's the name, highlighter. And then I'm wearing this lipstick from Yves Saint Laurent in shade number 5. This is the Tint in Balm. And I kind of like this look. I think I like it a little bit more than the one I did this morning. I like the color combinations better. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.